So we take this stuff very seriously. Oh no, wait, we don't. We don't take it that seriously, huh? What? What are you saying, Mark? The people on this planet don't take their ritual seriously? That's weird. Why is it a ritual at all if they don't take it seriously? Good thinking.
Wow, that's gotta be the driest, most arid planet I've ever seen. That tiny moon, on the other hand, looks like it's all water. Guys, you know what to do. Let's give him a sip. We probably should have checked if there was life signs first.
Welcome to episode 6 of Star Trek Discovery Season 5. We're on the downswing. We're in the second half. We're over the hump. How's it looking so far? Not terrible. Is this episode good? Well, on a similar token, it's not terrible. It's whistle speak. What is whistle speak? Actually, forget about whistle speak. Even though this episode is called Whistle Speak, it doesn't really mean anything. A lot of this episode, on second viewing, kind of falls apart. I liked it a lot more in the first viewing, but this is definitely a leave your brain at the door type episode. Just go along for the ride. It has a point. It has a monologue in its own mind. But the steps taken to get there, without spoiling exactly how I feel, let's start off with the review right now for, what was it called? Oh yeah, Speak. Whistle Speak. Remember that vial of water we got from the ISS Enterprise last episode in Mirrors? Well, we're trying to find out what it means. What does it mean? And we have what amounts to a cool effect. It was probably produced cheaply. It looks like we're just aiming a little LED light through the backside of the water canister, vial, changing its color, flipping it around, and then zooming in on the characters' faces to see how the light plays on their faces. Cheap and effective. I like that. That's how you got away with things back in the day. You didn't have a lot of money. You didn't have a lot of actual technology. So you had to make do. So you get things like the transporter. We can't afford to have them fly the shuttle around. Let's transport. We can't afford to have any kind of cool overlay here. So let's just put a light behind the water vial and then play the light off their faces. Very cool. I'm into that stuff. It sounds like I'm being condescending, but I'm not. The way the light has played off of characters' faces has been a classic staple of old Trek that's been sadly missing. I really miss it. In future Trek, I would like to see the return of the light on the eyes. Do you remember that? Like, it's kind of like a dark, dull light on my body, and then my eyes are like, there's a ray of light on my eyes, and you can see just what I'm doing here. And they've brought it back momentarily, kind of like just as a wink wink thing. I've seen it in Strange New Worlds. I think the last episode of season 1, I think, had it. And it was done by the view screen. I think it had something to do with that. It's very cool, though. We gotta play with light more. I know it's hard. When you're doing a CGI-heavy show, such as anything sci-fi or indeed Star Trek, you want to shoot with as flat lighting as possible. That means the image looks gray. It's flat. It's not shiny. It's not dark. It's just kind of like all the colors have kind of a similar contrast to each other. Makes shows look very gray and bland. You're wondering probably now why all the recent shows look so bland. That's why. They have to make the CGI work later, so they're taking a workload off the people who were in post-production by shooting it with very, very flat lighting. What you end up with something boring. You end up with a boring picture when you do that. And, methinks it would be better off for us to let the people in post-processing and then doing the CGI work, let them worry about it. Let's just focus on getting the coolest shot we can with the coolest lighting we can. I want to see characters sweat. I want to see the glint in their eye. And I want to see dark blacks and bright brights. Can we do that? Moving forward, a thought for future Trek that's not at all related to this episode. So we're looking at this vial. It's a colorful light show. And I mean, right off the bat, I'm seeing things on that vial. Like, they're saying, oh, it's just pure distilled water. There's absolutely nothing in it. Look at the vial. Not the water, look at the vial. There's scratches in that vial. Do they mean something? Little did I know, I was onto something before anybody else was. Is that a good thing? Your mileage may vary. Eventually, we have to talk to Kovich. Kovich comes back. He's cool. I always like seeing him, but he's sadly barely in this season so far, it seems. It would have been really cool to have him on the Discovery. Why not? It's a red directive, after all. We'll get into that. He goes to the Infinity Room, so does Michael, and he has this sick-looking desk. It looks just like a control panel, like right off the Discovery or something like that. But it's got like a veneer of like a black wood finish, and he has a real paper pad where he's writing on because he's an aficionado of the 21st century. I thought this was sick. That was the coolest thing ever. But listen, he's resourceful. He's helping us. He basically says that we don't have any information on Maul and Lack, and the U.S.S. Lockerer is on the case. And Michael, I mean, just as one example of characters not taking things seriously in this season, I've noticed, Michael seems like genuinely upset that Starfleet would send the Lockerer to help the Discovery. Like, that this is not just Discovery's mission, this, as it should be, the mission of all Starfleet, right? You'd think we're kind of dealing with the end of the Federation here. You saw the future, right? In Face of Strange. You saw what the Byrne can do. Maybe this shouldn't just be the Discovery's job. And, I mean, the slight, you can see it in Michael's eyes. She's, like, upset that the Locker is on the case. Like, this is Discovery's mission? And we're stalling it right now? Well, fine. This part is just the Discovery's mission, but just because you have the Spore Drive doesn't mean we can't be doing lots of stuff on the sidelines with their regular old warp drive, by the way, which we've not invented anything better in 900 years, despite quantum slipstream and things like that, and other things I won't get into if you know Star Trek drives. So that was odd. Immediately I got a weird taste in my mouth from that. Michael, you're upset that the Lockerer is helping. I don't understand what that means. But he comes up with a list of names. You see, they figured out Kovich and his ilk, whoever he belongs to. I've always maintained that there's something going on with this Kovich guy. He's not at liberty to discuss certain things. At one point, he looks like he might be equal or above in stature to the president. I don't know for sure. Go back to the first episode of the season, Red Directive, and there's some questions to be raised if you read into it. He has a list of names. These are the people that he dug up the names. He is resourceful of the scientists who started this whole wild goose chase for the progenitor tech. So if we knew the background of each individual person, we might be able to then infer how they hit it, right? Because everyone's going to do it differently. Decent reasoning. So one of these names on here, the one that if you scratch out the ones we've already done, we have a Denobulan. No, we're not going to Denoblia. What was it? Denoblia Triaxa. What did Phlox say in Enterprise? It's not important here. But, oh, cool, Denobulan. Okay. And what do they have to do with the water vial? And we do one of those Star Trek things where we're all just kind of bouncing the ball to each other. Like we got a three-way tennis game. They were making water towers. Okay, and what planets on the Denobulan trade routes hundreds of years ago that were arid? Blah, blah. And okay, and it worked out that there was one world, Halem'no. Just one. That's got to be where a clue is. Imagine if it wasn't. Imagine how funny it would be if... You don't want to do this when you only got 10 episodes in a season, but just imagine if they went to the wrong planet and wasted an episode. That would be so stupid, I might want it. I don't know. That's a level of stupid that's flying too close to the sun. So Halem'no is this arid, dry planet. It's a big old baked potato with one yummy green dot in the center, a little yolk. Why does the tower, why does the weather control tower there that creates the water for the people to live with, why does it look like a mountain? Why is it disguised as a rock pillar? Rayner asked this. And I was just thinking, Rayner, take a guess. Take a guess, Rayner. Why do you think Denoblians that used to be here made the tower look like a natural construct of rock? Could it be that there's a pre-warp civilization there? Could it be that they were getting into some risky business? Helping people that we're going to die without them. The age-old Star Trek question: do we or don't we? We're breaking the Prime Directive if we help them, and they're going to die if we don't. Isn't that how Star Trek Discovery starts? Doesn't Episode 1, Season 1 start with this kind of same dilemma about water? Remember that? What was it? The Vulcan Hello? Was that the first episode of Discovery? Isn't this how this started? Discovery? Wow, that was a while ago. So, I mean, it's up to you to figure this out, right? If a world has already been contacted in a manner of speaking, and you go there now to fix that thing, are you breaking the Prime Directive further? I don't know. It's its own field of study, and I'm assuming by that fact that it's not just a one and done thing. It's complicated. So I'm going to leave that to the professionals in the, what would be Starfleet Diplomatic Corps, and I'm just going to go with whatever the captain says, and we're going to go down to that planet, and we're going to interfere with the age-old Denoblian weather tower, because apparently this must have something to do with the clue. The clue must be in that tower. I mean, where else would they put it? All the other water towers are defunct except for that one. You'll see what that means in a moment. So we need to dress up as the locals. We need to go native. This amounts to some dots on your forehead. Cool. Cool, guys. Great job. Imagine if the locals were like a Tholian, and we had to figure that crap out. Yeah. If you don't know, a Tholian is a crystalline creature with, an anomalous amount of limbs from our point of view. That might be something. There's an episode. But we need to engage in, I guess, quote-unquote, whistle speak. So the people on this planet whistle to each other, and we take a serious few minutes to explain this whistle speak and how they have different words for pain. Oh, isn't that wonderful, blah, blah, blah. And we get down to the planet, and the whistle speak is over in, 2 minutes. The whistle speak comes from a distance, we get close to them, and then we just start talking like it's nothing. And the whistle speak is gone. You name the episode Whistle Speak, and it's gone. It's kind of like they wrote it originally that the characters would have to learn to whistle to talk to these people, and then it got too difficult, and they stopped, and they went back and reshot it with just regular talking. I genuinely am thinking that might have happened. This is too hard. Let's just do it normally. Oh my god. Imagine if they had to learn to whistle, or they had to learn to program a tricorder to send whistle sounds, and they had to hide the tricorder in their shirt or something when they were whistling, and then just mime the whistles. Something creative, right? On first inspection, this looks like a creative and interesting episode, but you'll realize it has a lot of missed opportunities for creativity and for originality. I like me an original, creative alien race. And this one on the surface looks like that, but on further inspection, it's just ho-hum. It's ho-hum Halem'no. Halem'no ho-hum. Maybe that's the name of this video, I don't know. Because this episode is kind of ho-hum. Not to spoil what I think ultimately. But whistle speak means nothing. We find this woman who was caught out in the rain, except it wasn't rain, it was dust. She was caught out in the dust, and it looks like she's going to die. And then for no reason at all, we just hit we have a little mortar and pestle, and we hit the edge of the bowl and then rotate around it and create kind of like a little sound. And that sound frees the dust from her lungs. And it's all very interesting. And if you're like me, you're probably thinking, oh man, we got to take the water vial down here, put it in that sound, and then see if it vibrates the water to show something. No. That doesn't mean anything. That's not what happens. That would have been cool, but that's not what happens. We do get the dust out of her lungs. She is okay. They meet Ohvahz and Ravah, and I'm hoping I got these names right because I'm bad with these alien names, even though I just watched it again. Ravah and Ohvahz, I think these are two compeers, which I guess is their own unique word for friend, comrade, ally, family member, person from Halem'no, Halem'nite. So greetings, compeers. And then we get the lowdown. Okay? If you're writing this like a 5-year-old would write it, you would have characters use as you know dialogue. What as you... Okay. Okay, school time. Here's a little lesson for you. As you know, I'm on this starship reviewing episodes of Star Trek, as you know. Why would I say that if you're already like 100 reviews in? That doesn't make any sense. If I'm talking to somebody back there who should know better, why would I ever say that? That's called as you know dialogue, and this episode is loaded with it. Characters in Ohvahz and Ravah, I assume that's their names, use as you know dialogue to explain what's happening. And it's so on the nose, and it's so flat. The mother compeer did X, Y, and Z with water to find the tower, and then prayed for rain. And as you know, we have to do the religious ritual of walking to the tower and not taking a sip to simulate Mother Compeer's journey to the water thing, as you know. Oh, and Ohvahz, as you know, the ritual is tomorrow. You see what I mean? Like, why would they... If they really met these people from the Far East or wherever they say they're from, usually in Star Trek, you say you're just from another country, I imagine they would react with a little bit more suspicion. You know, a little bit like, giving them, the side eye. Who are these people? Side eye. I don't know. Instead, we get as you know dialogue, explaining what we're going to have to do tomorrow. You guessed it right. We're going to have to go on this ritual, this journey, this trip, this pilgrimage, what have you. And it's a race. And listen, Michael and Tilly are down on this planet. See, I already know Tilly's going to win that race. Remember Discovery Season 2? When, Tilly... They were racing around the Discovery. Like, they were doing laps around the saucer, I believe. Tilly had time to stop and have a hallucination, and then still either win or almost win. If I'm remembering that correctly. And now Tilly's back here, and she still kind of wins. Tilly is the fastest character in the whole show, Tilly is. I wish that we could have had, a different character here. I mean, ultimately, it's fun with Tilly, but, we're getting close to the end here. It would have been cool if this was Ohvahz or even Paul. It would take some rewriting, but it would be cool if Paul was here. But no, we just have Michael and Tilly. I guess it's better than Michael and Book again. I guess you can look at it that way. But basically what we're doing is we put a little thirst cube in her mouth. So good. Oh, wait, it's not good. It makes you thirsty. It's like a cube of pure thirst. It's so bitter and arid and dry. You put it in your mouth, and this simulates there's a mythological character in their history where they were very thirsty and had to make a journey to the water, the rain tower thing to pray for rain, and they did it without any water and while being really, really dry. So you will go on that journey as well, and the idea would be you spiritually develop in the process. Only one person can win, though, because it is a race. And there's temptation everywhere. There's little bowls of water along this trail, right? And if you take a drink, you disqualified. Michael, Ravah, Tilly are in this race. Even though if you watch closely, you can see characters having misgivings about this. There's a character that Michael talks to, indeed the same woman that was freed from the dust in her lungs with the sound trick, saying that, oh, I had a friend, she was just like you, she won, I wish I could see her old. Put 2 and 2 together. What do you think happens when you get to the tower? Have they read a book before? Have they ever been to a pre-warp civilization with weird rituals? You know that a lot of these things involve sacrifice, right? You know that, right? You know that dying for a cause is like a noble thing, right, in these cultures. And I have to wonder when it was they clued in. They clued in very, very late. And, part of me wonders if the Federation had data on these people. And part of me wonders if when they put these thirst cubes in their mouth, they couldn't beam water into their mouths. Okay? You're thinking, that's stupid. Beam water into their mouth. That's stupid. You can't do that. Strange New Worlds, Season 1, Episode 1, was like 900 years before this. And they beamed a film of something onto Spock's eye in real time as he was approaching a retinal scanner so that he can fool the scanner. The biometric scan, he fooled it by having something beam onto his eye. So I was wondering, could Michael and Tilly not just stop when nobody was looking and then just say, Discovery, beam water into my mouth. Put a wetness tab on my tongue, please. Right? Is that much crazier than beaming a thing onto your eye? By the way, speaking of eyes, they do have an eye-mounted tricorder here, which I was like, they do say it's new, and I was thinking, wow, I wish this wasn't new. I wish it was old. I wish we had this in Discovery in the 31st, 32nd century, whatever it is. I wish we had that since the beginning. I wish we had that since Season 3. It's actually cool. It's way better than touching this thing and seeing holograms flying around. Suck. How about the eye-mounted tricorder thing? That was way cooler. And you see it from their perspective, and they have like a holographic overlay on top of things that they're looking at. That's way cooler than the annoying and hard-to-see holograms floating around that are transparent and blind you. Way cooler. Did they just come up with this now and then put it in here and then say, man, I wish we had this 2 seasons ago? I don't know, but it suffices to hide the fact that they're using these things if it's mounted in your eye, which makes me wonder why it just isn't standard. It is new. Hopefully it's standard after this, but I bet you it's not. So they wander around. They're in this race. You can see people getting disqualified by giving in to temptation and having le sip of le water. Water. And then part of you is wondering, how did they catch them? I didn't see like a guard or some kind of like a examiner for this test posted every few feet. I did not see that. It looked like there was nobody around. How did they know when somebody was disqualified? Is it just the honor system? I mean, they obviously take their religious stuff here very seriously, so maybe I can believe that the honor system is something that they would consider. If you did drink the water, you would disqualify yourself willingly, probably because you didn't want it, you secretly didn't really want to win. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more, say no more. So we take this stuff very seriously. Oh no, wait, we don't. We don't take it that seriously. Huh? What? What are you saying, Mark? The people on this planet don't take their ritual seriously? That's weird. Why is it a ritual at all if they don't take it seriously? Good thinking. Because Ravah and Tilly are going to win. They're the last two in the race. Ravah fails. Tilly goes back, puts her water in Ravah's bowl, and then somehow they're both not disqualified. They both win. They both win. I don't think that it would work like that. Somehow I got a feeling that they would have said, no, you're both disqualified. You can't have two people go into the tower. That doesn't make any sense. It says if you can't go to the tower with an empty bowl, you have to hold the temptation the whole way. Ravah's water is gone. Tilly puts her water in it. So now they both got half full bowls, which is the same as you drinking half. So would they really allow that? I don't know. It seems like this would take days to figure out, but they just kind of let it go. Well, I guess they're both winning. You're all winners. You're all winners here today, guys. Good job. Meanwhile, Burnham goes off the beaten track to find out interesting stuff about the tower and a auxiliary control panel that's away from the main structure of the rain tower, and totally not to get a sip of water. That wasn't what she was thinking. She wasn't saying, I just gotta get some water. I know, I'll just make up something. Discovery, I have to go find the panel thing. These water towers have panels. There's one over here. I see evidence of radiation. It must be there. Water. And then she figures out, how do we fix this panel? She opens it up. She's scanning it with her eye tricorder. Very cool. And a very cool transition to Adira on the bridge when she touches it, and then it transitions to like a match shot of the same object to the bridge of the Discovery, where Adira is pulling up a holographic version and putting it on the control panel, and then figuring out how it all works. Adira seems all very nervous. They wanted to be on the bridge, and Rayner's just saying, like, hey, bring it home. You got this. Ever since that time bug, you've been, wearing your heart on your sleeve about a lot of things, in a manner of speaking. And this all ain't on you, but now's your time to shine. And I think Rayner, he really brought it home when he told Adira to bring it home, because that's what Adira needs right now. The firm, guiding hand of Rayner to tell Adira, listen, smarten the heck up and finish this mission. And they do it, and it's wonderful. And they tell Michael, oh, put this chip here, put that chip here, bing, bang, boom. Bob's your uncle. The control panel is fixed. I don't remember why we fixed it, but the tower seems to be working now. I think maybe that fixing that panel somehow is like a maintenance procedure that makes the tower last longer. I think that's what happened. But we need to get in this tower. And Tilly and Ravah do indeed win this race, quote unquote, win the race. And they both have to go in the tower. And, in the manner of speaking, we figure out that this is indeed going to kill us. When we are in this tower and it activates, it sucks the oxygen out and we die. And what we do is we pray to the gods, and that makes us feel better while we die. And Tilly is in there realizing, oh, wait, no. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm on the Discovery. I'm not supposed to be here. Oh, my God. That's what she's thinking. And so we're using our eye tricorder. Who are you talking to? Ravah asks. The gods. And there's scratches on this wall. What does that mean? Oh, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're from this planet, but you didn't know how to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Tilly, I'm starting to think you're not from this planet. That's not what Ravah says, but it's what you're thinking. You don't know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Maybe we could have did with a little bit more research on the, culture of this world before we went on this mission. But this is a red directive, and we are desperate, and we are running out of time. So I'll give him that as an excuse. They're both dying. Ravah starts to hum a song. Tilly's humming it too. Michael goes, this is like Kirk mode. It's like, okay, listen, we can't do this. It's time to just fly by the seat of our pants. We get freaking Captain Kirk comes in and says, listen, I'm going into that tower. I don't care. We're breaking the Prime Directive. I'm going to make it up as I go. We're going to save Tilly. Over. Except that's not what happens. It's Michael arguing to Rayner. So we do go into this tower. Michael's not supposed to be there. Ohvahz is there anyway, and he's grief-stricken because he's losing Ravah, and he didn't want Ravah to die. And it's all very sad, but this is the sacrifice that we must make for Rain. Not according to Michael. Michael just spills the beans. Listen, there are no gods. Denobulans, aliens that are from a place almost as far away as I'm from, built this thing to help you guys have water. It's malfunctioning. You sacrificing people is not going to help. It's time to just rip that Band-Aid off right now. And I am genuinely surprised that Michael didn't lie here and say that we're gods. Here's a question for you. If you've seen this episode, here's an interesting discussion piece for you to whet your mental appetite. Would it have been safer for Michael? I mean, you don't want to do this. Any normal situation, you don't want to do this. But the Federation's on the line. And it's a red directive, whatever that means. Would you lie and say that, we're the gods, I'm a god? Would he believe it? If you tried that, would he believe it? I'm a god. I'm telling you, stop sacrificing people. I can prove I'm a god because I can hear them on the other side of that wall. And it's not because of technology, it's because of, I'm a god and I can do magic ear stuff. Would he believe it? Would you try that? I would never try that until this exact moment where it felt like, if we didn't get this progenitor tech, it could be the end of the Federation. The one chance where this lying about this egregious level of a lie might be permitted. It's up to you. It's not up to me. So I posit that. We do say that, no, we're from space. We're Starfleet. It's technology. You gotta believe me. Open that door. That humming that Ravah's mother sang her, I can hum that too. I can hear it through technology. We explained to him, and he's just smart enough to get it, that, this water tower is going to put water in the atmosphere, regardless if we sacrifice people. And then we do have our discussion about, my compeers. The unity we got from believing in these gods, it brought us together. And there's been conflicts before, and people were brought together by the prospect of these gods. And does this mean there are no gods? And we have a very frank discussion about this. And I genuinely thought Michael would say, listen, my people are on a mission to find gods as well. So they are real. That's not what she says. She just kind of does like a roundabout explanation of it. It fits in with the theme of this season. And I think they kind of fumbled the ball a little bit here. I really thought Michael would deliver a line that was a little bit more in tune with progenitors. We're looking for the progenitors. In a physical sense, they are our creators. And here I have a native on this planet asking me if there are no gods. And could I not quell, his anxiety a little bit by saying we're on the same journey as you are? Could I not? For him in his position at Ohvahz, would that not bring him some kind of comfort? I don't know. It's Michael kind of almost says it, but it's a little bit, it's fumbled. It's not quite exactly right, but it is a confusing thing to wrap your brain around. And we tell this person that there is no gods, and there are indeed people in your village who are willing to think a little differently. Think maybe they did talk to that woman who was saved with the sound healing. She had misgivings about the pilgrimage, the run, the competition, the race. She had misgivings. So it's, the ultimate, the $1 million question in this episode is, how are they going to deal with this? We don't see the ramifications of it. Maybe that's smart. It could go completely wrong. They could all kill each other. I don't know. It's just one of those things we're now contending with. We're just, that happened. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But we did indeed save Tilly, save Ravah. I don't know what Ohvahz is going to say to his people. I don't really care. I just hope that everything works out okay in the end, guys. Hey, we're all winners here, after all. We're all winners. Tilly notices that the 5th scratch on this wall, the number 5, these other towers, they denote the towers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're all defunct. 5, that scratch, like this, was the same scratch I saw on the bottle at the beginning. I caught it before they did. I can't be that smart, but I caught it. So we have to go to the 5th tower, off screen. Now that the cat's out of the bag, it doesn't matter what happens, so I guess we just transported there. And we got our clue from that tower, leaving the people, the compeers of Halem'no, in a state of societal shock. Thanks, Starfleet. Maybe that wasn't a great idea. But hey, the age-old argument still stands. The Nobelins broke the Prime Directive here already, so if we break it some more, are we really that bad? That's up to you. We had awkward scenes with Culber again. Culber is now King Awkward of the season. Scenes that feel like they were written later, reshot, shoved in order to give him a heightened level of connection with the audience for when we eventually kill him. Wink. Wink. I don't know. That's a thought I had in the back of my mind now for a few episodes. He wants a full scan done of his brain. If a character comes up and says, I want a full scan done of my brain, do you think that character feels right? Listen, I've learned, watching a lot of Space Track, that if something feels wrong on the ship, it's probably wrong, and it's a really, really bad idea to ignore things like that. You don't know what's happening in space. You don't know. It is a scary place. He has a holographic conversation with, I believe, his grandmother. And I had the English subtitles on, and I could not get the... I don't know what they said. They were speaking in some other language. I'm not sure what it was. I don't want to go half-cocked here and try to assume what the language was. I don't know exactly. I couldn't understand it. I hope it wasn't important. I tried it with English subtitles on, and I tried it with English subtitles off, in case it overlapped it. No, there was nothing. Nada. There was nothing there. So I don't know what they said. But after this hologram was over, like, it's kind of like a therapeutic thing, talking to people who have died. Yeah, that's therapeutic. It's not totally frightening. The computer asks Culber how that went, and I 100% expected him to say creepy, but he doesn't. He just says it's wonderful and awesome. But there's one problem. There's one little uncanny valley problem here. It's that the hologram, according to Culber, the computer, facsimile of his grandmother, I believe it was, said something she shouldn't be able to know. Okay, well, I'm telling the captain that right now. Nope. We don't do that. That doesn't matter. We don't do that. He just he never says to anybody. He never says to even Paul. He never utters that the hologram knew something it shouldn't know. That's like Moriarty type things from TNG. Remember that time in TNG when Moriarty, that Sherlock Holmes character, was in the holodeck, and he drew a picture of the Enterprise, and he was like, "What's this?" And everybody went on red alert immediately. Yeah, that's like that. When that happens, I'll be like, "Uh-oh. Hello, Captain. Something wrong with the hologram here, I think. Uh-oh. Star Trek things happening. Space track. We're doing some space tracks." And everybody might die. We are looking for the progenitor tech, after all, the most powerful thing in the universe. And we're in a hurry, and we have to race Maul and Lack. And the hologram knows something it shouldn't know. So we do get a full neural scan by Paul. Culber more or less says that, "I'm having a religious awakening, and I feel so good about things now." And we're all very jealous of him. And everyone says, "You should enjoy it." And I think that too. My life is so boring and bland. I wish I could have one cool experience in my life. I guess I'm not Culber. Culber gets to die, come back to life, and then live as Janelle momentarily on another planet, on Trill. And wow, what a cool dude. I don't get to do anything. With all that out of the way, we do have a dinner scene between Paul and Book on a shuttle, where we get to see Book playing a very old-looking video game that got me very psyched up. And he has the interesting line that, "Why don't you just do that in a simulator, in the holosuite," or something like that. Culber basically says, "Why don't you just do that in the holodeck?" And he says that the ship doesn't feel real in the holodeck. But what he's playing looks like something that it could be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years old, this video game he's playing, right? So, actually, I don't know if they knew this, but this could be like a meta-commentary on Uncanny Valley. Look that up if you don't know what it is. When something is just real enough, it's scary. You walk it back a little bit and it's less realistic. Now it's fun. So realism, fake, right? As fake gets close to realism, it goes like this. Hey, this is cool, this is cool, this is cool. So, whoa, we go into the Uncanny Valley where it's just close enough to real that only a certain percentage of our brain can buy this reality, and that causes dissonance in our minds, which gives us a fear response. And then we go back up into the realm of the real. So true real is here. So there's a valley of realness, right? We can apply that to a video game, and maybe the holodeck one is too close to real without being real, and this ancient old video game Book is playing is fake enough that it's not freaky. Maybe you could apply that to the hologram of Culber's grandma. Am I grasping here? Am I seeing something that isn't there? Am I seeing more in this than the writers actually saw? I don't know. We do eventually get back to the ship and decipher like Betazoid text on the final clue piece that we got from Tower 5. I think that's where we got it. And we know where we're going next. What a wonderful way to end the episode. We need more clues, more clues, more clues, more clues, more clues. and then we need to get to the end goal. We need to probably fight the final boss, and we need to save the universe. And isn't it great being on a fetch quest? At least this episode didn't feel pointless. It felt, as you can tell from my review, and if you kind of skim over everything I said, the logic is a little suspect, but it felt like their heart was in it, right? I can see your heart was in it. The episode, it rhymed with itself. The theme and the plot felt in unison. The theme of, at once, we see Culber dealing with the esoteric nature of learning to believe in spirituality and things beyond the realm of the real, in the esoteric sense. And then on the surface of Halem'no, we're dealing with characters learning to believe in reality in spite of a previously held strongly belief in the spirituality of things beyond the real. They're the inversion of each other. So this episode is not one-sided. It's trying to show you multiple aspects of this same question, right? There's different takes on spirituality versus reality orbiting the same question, okay? And I really appreciate that. And the plot fits in with it, right? The plot is about a pre-warp culture being saved by gods who say that they're not gods, and they came to just... The new gods on the Discovery showed up, saved them, and told them that the old gods weren't real. Right? So hopefully the people on Halem'no didn't get a mixed message, and hopefully everything remains peaceful. But it's a confusing jigsaw puzzle with a lot of different angles and a lot of different thoughts put into it, and I appreciate that. Right? It's not completely one-sided. It's not boring. It's not messageless. It's not thoughtless. It's not early Discovery where it felt like every episode was about nothing. Right? At the very least, you can say that every episode in Discovery Season 5 just about has been about something. Huge praise, because I've seen Discovery Season 1, 2, and 3, and I'm glad we can finally kind of end off with this. The episodes say something. They have an internal thought structure that comes out in the plot and in the themes, and they work together. Isn't that funny? How it takes things long to get good, but in reality, it's only, how many episodes are we in the Discovery now? Like 50 episodes? I don't know. How many episodes have there been? This should have been like the start of season 3 by now, normally. And you'll note that when Discovery started, it was a prequel that looked totally different, and then they eventually went to the future to fix it, giving people the show they wanted anyway. Maybe you should have just gave people the post-Nemesis show that they wanted. A key detail I was alluding to was the Red Directive problem. In this episode, when they said the Prime Directive, and they brought up the fact that they're going to have to deal with the Prime Directive here, my instinct on that was, hold on, I thought we were dealing with the Red Directive. If the Red Directive can be superseded by the Prime Directive, then why was it called a directive at all? Why wasn't it just called a mission? What is it? Did the Red Directive begin and end in the first episode? It genuinely seemed, when they said Red Directive in the first episode, that was a very serious thing. And lives were expendable. But not if it would break the Prime Directive. So why would we bring it up? Just call it a mission. Oh wait, this is modern Trek. Red Directive, Red Angel, Red Lady, Myriad Codex, Control. We need fancy, cool sounding words that make you want to watch the episode. That's why. Oh yeah, that's why. I remember now. People are bamboozled by fancy, cool new words. But seriously though, on a serious note, what does Red Directive mean? What does it mean? We can't, in service of a Red Directive, we're not allowed to break the Prime Directive. And, so what is it? before, if you introduced another directive, you would assume that, oh my gosh, this has to break the Prime Directive. Omega particle, Voyager stuff. But no, this is just a red directive. Don't worry about it. It's very important that you win, as is every mission, but don't break the Prime Directive. That's red directive. I don't know. Musically, though, there are some cool bits here. Right at the beginning, when they're looking at the water and that vial sounded cool. Cool transitions to the planet scene. It's sprightly. It's alive. The same can't be said for the rest of the episode, but there was cool kind of an interesting little unique musical invention when they're on the planet's surface, mingling with the natives. It felt lively. It felt like we were really there. But the music kind of takes a backseat for the rest of the episode. So music starts good and then kind of trails off. At least it's not as bad as the Burnham years, where after TNG, like season 3, it felt like episodes almost didn't have music. But I'll commend a little bit of an effort here that I saw on display. Thematically, we've been over that. I'm happy what we're presenting with thematically. Plot-wise, it's got a lot of holes, it's got a lot of problems, and it's a little bit of a roller coaster that you just buckle up and just kind of go on and don't really worry about it. It's one of them. So plot, not really winning. Music, like I said, it's okay. It drops off a cliff. Visually, it was cool being on this planet. It was cool seeing the tower made of rock. I like that. We're losing on the ship front. It would have been really cool to see the locker. We mentioned the U.S.S. locker. That really would have helped this episode. Again, I'm not reviewing it based on what I want it to be, but I'm reviewing based on what we got. And based on these things, what we got, I'm saying we got an episode that is narrowly better than Janelle, but is it better enough to go up to a 5.5? I don't know. Not sure on this one. I like it more than Janelle, but not enough to go to the 0.5 level. I'm just going to have to then go with a 5. This one's a 5, but recognize that it's like a 5.2 or something, because it's better than Janelle, if I'm being honest. So far this season, there's been nothing absolutely terrible. That's good. That's good. So we're giving this episode 5 out of 10. I'm Lieutenant Mark, and I'm going to see you next time I see you. Signing off.